Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of Cooking in Times of Corona, Quarantine Stock Up Edition. So we're doing it a little different today. I'm not gonna make a dish. I'm gonna give you a run through of my freezer and my pantry and some really good tips on how to store certain produce and what to purchase, being mindful of the fact that we can't go out and we have to make our food last as long as possible. All right, let's see it. So here we go. All right, so the way I have this organized right now is I have my breads and my stocks on top. I know I've talked about this stock, but if you make it at home, even better. I like buying this stock at the frozen food section at Whole Foods. If you can't find this, maybe make it at home. You can also buy chicken bouillon cubes, which adds tons of flavor to food. But this is really healthy, great for quarantine. And if you make your own, you can also freeze it in Ziploc bags. Reuse the bags when you make it again. I have all my breads up here. This is one random brioche bun, some gluten-free bread, Ezekiel. These are the Mallorcas I made a couple of weeks ago. So if and when I'm craving a Mallorca, I'll just pull one out, put it back in the freezer. I have some tortilla shells, some sourdough bread over here. If you don't want your bread to go bad, keep it in the freezer. Bread holds really well in the freezer, so. Ice cream, duh. And, okay, another tip. So the other day, I was craving a drink, but I remembered I don't have any ice. Obviously, I don't have any room for ice in my freezer. But then I remembered, you can thank Joselito for this tip. Joselito's my dad. So my dad is, let's call him a cold drink connoisseur. Because in Puerto Rico, it's always hot, your drink's always melting, and it never stays cold for long enough. So he came up with this brilliant idea of making giant ice cubes. And you will never see my dad without his Yeti cup. He actually gave me this for Christmas, but it works. If you want to keep your drink cold, you take the lid off, you take your huge ice cube, you pop it in. This thing will last for 2 days because of the surface area of the ice, and you just make your drink and it'll be cold for hours and your ice won't melt. Also, if you don't have a Yeti cup, just the ice cubes are a really good idea, especially if you don't have room in your freezer. If you don't want to go out to buy ice, I don't want to leave my apartment right now, especially to buy something that I can make at home. It's just frozen water. So yeah, I have my essential ice cubes here. I want to show you the bottom part of my freezer. So down here I keep frozen fruit, frozen veggies, and frozen meat. Oh, these are frozen bananas. I'm going to show you how to store the bananas in a little bit. This is my roommate's frozen vegan broth. I have some frozen octopus that I got at the grocery store. I'm actually going to make an octopus salad later. I'll show you how to make it. I'm so excited. So down here, I'm always telling you guys to freeze things flat, and I'm gonna show you why. It's because it makes it so easy to store. So down here, I have the sofrito I just made, and then you just stack everything. And I actually learned this working at Bouchon. It's a great way to store food and meats because it doesn't take up that much space or surface area, so you just stack things. This is the fricassé de pollo, the chicken stew I made the other day, so it's nice and flat there. I like buying ground meat if I'm gonna freeze it. This is ground turkey. I bought 1 pound, but I don't eat an entire pound in a batch. So I took my pound and I portioned it out into 2 different bags. So next time I cook ground turkey, I'll just pop this out and it'll be a good serving for myself for just 2 portions. And then I have some frozen short ribs I'm gonna make soon. And the best way to store meat is to try to keep it as airtight as possible. So maybe you can wrap each piece of short rib individually in plastic wrap. I have so this was an entire ham steak I bought. It was huge. It was like It was like this big. I have the other 2 pieces over here. But yeah, I cut it into 4 portions, and so next time I make a stew with ham, I can just pull out 1 piece because I'm not going to use the entire ham steak at one time. This already came vacuum sealed, so I just threw it in here just like this. I have some frozen vegetarian patties I made. They're in here. This is a frozen soup, frozen chicken, and then I have all my frozen veggies over here. Frozen papaya. I had some blueberries that were gonna go bad, so I threw them in a Ziploc bag, froze them. Frozen peas, frozen spinach. So yeah, I just wanted to give you some ideas. Hopefully this helps you guys out. So now I want to show you my produce and how I store it. So up here I have some starches. I have some gold potatoes, sweet potatoes, butternut squash. I like buying these because they'll last forever. And they're also really filling. They have a lot of nutrition. So this is really good to buy for quarantine. I have some onions. Remember, if your onions are, kind of reaching their expiration date, throw them in a blender, throw them in your freezer, and then you can break up little chunks of it. I have some oranges. Citrus is really good right now to keep your immune system up. It's really healthy. Avocados. I'll buy 2 and 3 avocados at a time. I'll buy 1 that's ripe so I can have it that day or the next day. And then I'll buy maybe 1 or 2 more that are rock hard, and I'll put them up here and just let them ripen slowly. I'll have the ripe ones first, and then I'll wait for the other ones to ripen. I have some plantains here, of course. I'm gonna make some tostones later. These are starting to get kind of yellow, which means the sugars are developing inside them, and I want them nice and starchy and savory. So I'm gonna prepare these soon. The good thing about this, you make tostones, you can make a really big batch, and you can freeze half of them and then just fry them up later. Lastly, I have my bananas and my papayas over here. These are really important to me. And there's actually a reason why they're over here and not with the rest of my produce. It's because bananas release a gas that make everything around them ripen faster. So I don't want any of that stuff to ripen. So I'm just keeping them separate. I buy a lot at a time because I really like frozen bananas. I like making smoothies and I like making ice cream. Sometimes I'll pick out pieces of frozen bananas and snack on them. I like them better that way. So I'm letting these ripen, and I just want them to get these nice little brown dots. That means they're super sweet and sugary. So these are ready to be frozen. I bought them like 4 days ago. I was waiting for them to get to this stage. I'm gonna leave these 3 out because I've been wanting to make banana bread, but I want them to get a little more ripe so they get super sweet. And then also I have this papaya over here. It was looking more like this when I bought it, but it's starting to change in color. It's starting to get kind of yellow and orangey. That means it's getting riper and sweeter. And the reason why they're with bananas is because I wanted them to get ripe faster. Another good tip, if you get underripe avocados, put them in a brown paper bag with bananas. They'll ripen so fast. So it's time to freeze my bananas. Okay. I'm gonna keep on talking about bananas. All right, so I just wanna show you how I freeze them. So I have a little Ziploc bag here. Remember, recycle, be mindful. I literally understand my grandma now when she told me, "Hay que economizar, you gotta recycle, you gotta be mindful." I get her now. We don't have the luxury now to just go out and buy tons of Ziploc bags whenever. So I have some dry cookies in here. I was done with the cookies. I rinsed out the bag, aired it out. Just try to recycle as much as you can. Plus, it's great for the environment. Come on, guys. All right, so I'll just take my bananas and peel all of them and straight into the bag with all of them. And what I'll do is, while they're in the bag, just take a butter knife and just cut them in the bag. That way you can freeze them flat in the freezer. and they don't take up that much room. And these are going boop, straight in the freezer. And then when I want them, just break up little chunks, throw them in the blender, make a smoothie, eat a little piece of frozen banana with some peanut butter. So good. These are the frozen bananas I have left over. I'm gonna take them out of this bag so I can recycle it. There's this thing in restaurants, it's called FIFO, first in, first out. So I'm gonna put these bananas in first. Cut it all. And then this one goes in front. And so next time I want something with frozen bananas, I'll eat these first, then these, and then the other bag I have. So first in is these. These are gonna be the first out. And I'm just gonna have one. They're so good. They're like sorbet when they're frozen. And straight in the freezer, just like that. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you get some good tips, some inspiration, and let me know what you think on the comments and if you have any other questions on how to store anything. Bye, guys.